Again, people have different definitions of work-life balance, and I think that the last, I know, 10 or 15 years, with the adoption of technology, people have made themselves really accessible. That's why we have so many jobs that are like influencer marketing or video creator or YouTuber or whatever it is. And some people really insist on having their own space. Some people are, more or less happily available 24/7. There are lots of, workaholics and so forth. So it's definitely a worry area, right? So I would say if you, like, for people who really want to be completely fully disconnected after say 7 p.m. or so, definitely either find yourself a job that is not going to bother you anymore, or kind of work a business that doesn't depend on you anymore, and you can completely offload and turn off your phone, and things don't depend on you. Now that sounds great, but the way I see it, it means that oftentimes, like, you're probably just an intermediate layer that isn't solving a lot of problems, right? Or of course you can just work in a corporation with like 17,000 managers, where every single decision has to go through like 17 different management meetings, which is called corporate, right? Which is like literally the corporate life. So if it's something in between, I would say, in my experience, most people either try to book time for like vacations or so forth, and they just try to protect that time, or they really blend the work-life balance, right? Like your work can fit into your kind of 24/7 lifestyle, but in a very creative way, right? You can start at 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. or do something else crazy and just be around as needed. Or like you can be on call. Like imagine people who work 24/7 kind of support, right? It's not a full-time job. You spend like 8 hours answering tickets in most of the time, right? It's actually like if there's an emergency, it gets bubbled up to you if you're kind of high-tier support. Like network/system administrators, there's a saying there, the best ones have no work whatsoever. And the reason is the network works so well that they have to make themselves disposable, right? But of course, you don't want to hire the best system engineer in the world, right? So with that in mind, like make yourself available for anything that matters to you and is of importance to you. It's probably going to span outside of the 9 to 5 job. I've definitely seen that most opportunities in my business happen after hours and on the weekend and during the holidays. Best opportunities ever. There's no competition. The biggest grinders and investors and people who are really working on great deals, they are available then. And like I can literally take Mondays and Tuesdays off and just work weekends and be twice as successful than taking the weekends off. It's just about the balance of things. It's just about being available for the right people, having the attention, having the ability to speak with people who are normally busy and like spend 5, 6, 7 hours a day in meetings. And if you catch them on a weekend, in the evening, after hours, and getting their undivided attention, you're just going to be 10x more successful. And once again, that's not about workaholism is great and like everyone should be a workaholic. It's more about working smart, actually allows you to blend work and life. If people around you understand that, it's more about you kind of turn to a different schedule. You don't have to sit 8 hours in front of a desk. You need to explore opportunities, figure out when the opportunities are. And there are days when there's like an 8 a.m. call, 1 p.m. meeting, and then an 8 p.m. call. And again, it spans throughout like 14 hours or so, but it doesn't mean that you spend 14 hours. It means that the biggest, most important things that you're in charge of and you need to do happen throughout the day, like 24/7.